Look forward, step your right foot between your palms, pivot your back foot, wimble your arms, warrior two pose. Look forward, flip your right hand up, lift up and over, reversing your warrior, keeping a 90-degree bend in your front knee. Bring your elbow to your thigh, bicep to your ear. Extended side ankle, Utthita Parsvottanasana. Gazing up or forward. Bring your hands back to warrior two pose. Straighten your front leg, pivot your front foot, and face the side walls. Bring your hands to your hips. Take a breath here. Exhale, fold forward from your hip creases. Prasarita Padottanasana. Bend your elbows. Bring your hands down underneath your shoulders. Fold forward, gazing at the tip of your nose. Come back up. Warrior two arms. Pivot your front foot back to warrior two. Look down. Cartwheel the arms. Frame your front foot. Pivot your back. Step back. Chaturanga Dandasana. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Bend both knees. Look forward. Step, hop, or float feet to your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, come back up. Standing position, coming into tree pose, Vrikshasana. Bring the right sole of your foot to your inner thigh or your calf. Hands to your heart center. Pressing the palms together, shoulders down your back. Steadying the breath, steadying your gaze. Rooting down through that standing foot. Bend your knee in towards your chest. Reach around with your right hand. Grab the instep of your foot. Extend your left arm up. Moving into dancer's pose, Naranjasana. Pressing the foot into your hands. Lifting up using the glute, hamstring, opening up the quad. Reaching your heart forward. Carefully release the foot from your hand and fold forward into upward splits. Urdhva Prasarita Ekapadasana. Keeping the hips square, pinky toe faces down. And then bring your right foot to meet your left. Open the feet 2 fist distance apart. Take your peace fingers, grab your big toes. Padangusthasana, folding forward. Hand to big toe. Release the hands. Shimmy the feet together. Bend your knees. Step, hop, or float. Back, chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha. Exhale, Adho Mukha. Take your left leg up. Pull it in. Wimble the arms. Warrior two. 90-degree bend, front knee. Flip the left palm up. Reach up and over. Reversing your warrior. You could stay here or bring the bottom arm up. Palms face each other. Keeping 90-degree bend. Opening up the side body, intercostal muscles. Bring your arms back to warrior two pose. And then straighten the front leg. And pivot the front foot. Facing the side walls. This time arms stay extended. Wide leg straddle pose. Folding forward from the hip creases. And lower down this time a little deeper. Grabbing a hold of your ankles. Or you can bring your hands back behind you, palms down. Forehead to the mat. Opening up the hamstrings. One more breath here. And then slowly rise back up. Bring your arms back to warrior two arms. Pivot the front foot. Warrior two pose. Look down, cartwheel the arms, frame the front foot, pivot the back. Step back, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bend both knees, look forward. And step, hop, or float. Feet to your hands. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, rise back up. Coming into tree pose on the left side. Left sole of your foot to your inner thigh or your calf. Finding a balance. Hands to your heart center. Press those palms together. Staying here or extend your arms straight up. Spinning your pinkies in, thumbs out, shoulders remain down your back. And then release the left knee in, reach around, grab the instep of the left foot, press the foot into the hand as you reach forward, opening up the quad, hip flexor, and then gently release that leg. Fold forward, keep the hips square, coming into upward splits. Urdhva Prasarita Ekapadasana. Staying here, or you can bring your hand around, grab a hold of your calf, one hand or two, folding into yourself, shin towards your shin, pinky toe down. Release the hand from the calf if it's bound, and bring the left foot to meet the right. Two fists distance apart, peace fingers, big toe, Padangusthasana, folding forward, deepening in those hamstrings, and then release the hands, shimmy the feet together, bend your knees, and come back down, Chaturanga. Vinyasa upward and downward. This time, bend both knees. You're going to jump your feet to the outside of your hands. Coming into Yogi Squat, Malasana. Hands to your heart center. Opening up the chest, the collarbones. And then taking a bind, Baddha Hasta. Bring your right hand down. Left arm extends. Reach around. Bind the fingers. So options if you need a towel to bind or your shirt. Then moving into one leg, Malasana. So lift the hips up, shimmy the left foot to the center of the mat, come up on the right toes, and lift up. This is Birds of Paradise. Tree pose is always an option if this isn't right for your body. Again, steadying the gaze and the focus. And then slowly release it, coming back down. Back to Malasana, squat. And then carefully release back to the mat, all the way down. Bring the soles of your feet together. Baddha Konasana. So breathe in, nice tall spine. Exhale, folding forward, reaching your heart forward. Try to get your thighs down to the outside of the mats. And if this feels a little too tight for your hips or your lower back, you can walk your feet a little further away for star pose. Still folding forward, keeping a nice lengthened spine. And come back up to a straight spine. Shimmy your left foot a little closer in. Bend your right knee. You're going to take the outside of your left hand and grab the outside of your right foot, extending it out into Herring Pose, Kranchasana. You can remain here or take a twist. Gazing back at your right hand. Come back to the center. Bend the knee back in. Bring the other leg back so your hips distance apart and knees are bent. Bring your hands behind your back. Fingertips face your back. Coming into Prasarita. So you can come into the modification. This is reverse table. Or the full expression, extending both legs out. Pressing into your hands to lift your hips up. Keeping your hips lifted, reaching your toes towards the floor. And if this is okay for your neck, release it back. Lower back down. Bend both knees back in and lower onto your back. Setting up for bridge pose. So feet, hips distance apart. Walk your feet a little closer into your bottom so they're about hands distance apart. Take a breath here. As you exhale, tuck your tail slightly under so your back is supported into the floor. Press into your feet and lift your hips up. Bridge pose. Staying here or take the bind so you can shimmy your shoulder blades in. Bring your palms together and release the index fingers. Continue to press into your feet, firming your glutes without over squeezing. And then slowly release it back down to the mat. Neutralizing your spine. And then bend both knees in towards your chest. And roll up, coming into another squat for the other side. So Baddha Hasta, extend your left arm up this time, reach your right arm up, reach around, take the bind, lift your hips up, shimmy your right leg underneath or in the center, slowly rise up, finding your balance. Tree, again, always an option. So release the bind, coming back to squat, Halasana. And then again, taking another Baddha Konasana, lower down, butterfly. Soles of your feet together. Maybe drawing it a little bit closer in, deepening the stretch. Feeling a little bit more open in the hips, inner thighs. Take a breath, fold forward. Keeping your chest lifted, heart reaching. And then open up the soles of your feet like you're reading a book, drawing the thighs to the mat. One more breath here. And then come back up to a straight spine. Bend your right knee a little closer in towards you. And take your right arm. Grab a hold of the outside of the left foot. And extend. Herring pose, Kranchasana. Keeping a nice straight spine. Twisting from your torso over to the left side. Gazing back at that left hand. And come back to center. Bend that knee back in. Bend the other knee. Hips distance apart. Fingertips face your back. So coming into Parsvottanasana or Ardha Parsvottanasana. So either a reverse table, releasing your head back, or full expression. Reaching both legs up, pressing up, and extending back. Keep those inner thighs facing each other, rotating in. Hips stay lifted down into your second bridge. Adding on. So take a breath. Tuck your tailbone under. Lift your hips back up. So staying here in bridge pose or taking the bind. Setubandha Sarvangasana. And then if you want a little bit more, one-legged bridge. Bring your right knee in. Extend it up. Reach those toes up. So pointing the toes. Combination of flexing and pointing. Staying here if you want to add a little bit more. 3 pulses, lower and lift. Feeling the work in the left glute. Release that leg back down. Switching sides. Pointing the toes, pressing, stabilizing, rooting through that bottom leg. And add the pulses for 3, 2, 1. Bend the knee, release it back down. Take a breath. Exhale it out. And then slowly release the bind. Release your spine. All the way down. Neutralize. Windshield wiping the feet, the legs, side to side.